The topic belongs to adjustments to the financial statement. Adjustments are necessary to make the financial statements true and fair. The first adjustment we did, depreciation. Number 2, bad debts. Number 3, provision for doubtful debt. Provision may increase or decrease. In both of the cases, it subtracts from receivables. In both of the cases, it subtracts from trade receivables. Agreed? Let me move to the next. Number 4th adjustment is accrued expenses. Kindly repeat all of them, whatever I am telling you. Accrued expenses, add-in expenses, accrued expenses, add-in expenses, and treat it as current liability, and treat it as current liability. Number 5, prepaid expenses. Subtract from expenses. Subtract from expenses. Prepaid expenses. Subtract from expenses. And it's a current asset. Prepaid expenses is your current asset. You have paid in advance for your expenses. You have not yet incurred the expenses. They are not yet expense. They are not yet expensed, but you paid in advance. So it's become your asset. It's become your current assets. Number 6, accrued income. Add-in income. Accrued income. Add-in income. Accrued income. Add-in income. And treat it as current assets. Accrued means not yet received, not yet earned. Sorry, not yet received. Accrued means income have been earned but not yet received. You have provided the services. Accrued income means you have provided the services, but the customer has not yet paid. Whereas advance income is opposite. The customer paid you in advance. The service is not yet provided. The service is not yet provided, but the customer paid in advance. So you need to subtract from income. You need to subtract it from the income and treat it as a liability. You are supposed to provide services. You already received the amount. You already received the amount. So right now your focus should be these 7 entries, these 7 adjustments at this level. You need to understand and learn these adjustments. Here is a question number 6. This is a financial statement question. Trial balance is given to us. Adjustments are there. The requirement is to prepare income statement and a statement of financial position. The new name of income statement is statement of financial position. Format already there. The already written format never changes. What can change? Incomes can change. Expenses of each question, each business may change. And the non-current asset. Other thing would remain the same. या तो होगी या तो नहीं होगी. तो मैं पहले से ही लिख देता हूं ताकि इससे हमें आसानी हो जाती है कि हमें बार बार हमारा कोई आइटम एक तो नंबर 1 मिस नहीं होगा और हमारा टाइम भी सेव हो जाएगा. So here we go for the adjustments. First adjustment. Clothing inventory 90,000. Clothing inventory appears in 2 sides. Number 1, income statement cost of sale. Here, clothing inventory 90,000, and it is a current asset also. the middle column. You have to remember, it should have been in the middle column. You must remember the columns. Second adjustment. Here we go for the second one. Rent, owing of wages. Owing is alternate name of accrued. Add in expense and current liabilities. Every adjustment affect twice. Add in expense and current liabilities. Wages 1800. Here we have wages. Do we have wages here? Yes, we have wages and salaries 30,000. 30,000. So I'm going to write wages and salaries in expenses. $30,000 plus 1,800 it makes it 31,800 and 1,800 appears as the other payable also. Current liability. Every adjustment affect twice. 1,800 become the current liability. Agreed. There is no other current liability. There may be more than one accrued, so they will be added. But right now there is only one accrued expense, one other payable. So I can drag it here in the last column also. एक ही अदर पेबल है सवाल में, अगर एक से ज्यादा होता तो मैं यहीं पर इसको प्लस कर रहा होता. Alright, but right now there is only one. So there is no need to write it here. Every adjustment twice. Now the next adjustment. क्या ये लिखा हुआ नहीं है 1800 खिजर भाई? Let me move towards the next adjustment. Provision for doubtful debt 7%. Provision for doubtful debt 7%. Provision is to be applied on receivables. So let me pick the receivable from the trial balance. Here we have a trade receivables 9,800 and percentage of doubt is 7%. So stay with me, I'm performing the calculation. 7% is to be applied on 9,800. Calculators, 9,800 multiplied by 7%. Kindly perform the calculations. This is 686. This is 686. We need to subtract the old allowance from it. What was the old allowance? Look at the trial balance again. Do we have a previous provision for doubtful debt? Yes, we do have 500. जो भी हम परसेंटेज निकालते हैं उसमें से पुराने वाले को माइनस करते हैं, चेक करते हैं बढ़ गया या कम हो गया. सर ये बढ़ रहा है 186 से. सर ये जो बढ़ रहा है ये इनकम स्टेटमेंट में जाता है और ये जो आपने परसेंटेज निकाली थी ये स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन में जाता है. काइंडली लर्न दिस. व्हेन यू आर कॉपिंग द क्वेश्चन you must perform the calculations and do mark these. क्या अमाउंट इनकम स्टेटमेंट में जाएगी, क्या अमाउंट स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन में जाएगी. Let me put one by one. 186 should be here as an expense and 686 should be subtracted from receivables. Its name, increase in provision for doubtful debt. प्रोविजन भी कह सकते हैं, अलाउंस भी कह सकते हैं. क्वेश्चन में जो भी लिखा होगा वही हम लिखेंगे. नेक्स्ट एडजस्टमेंट पॉइंट नंबर 3 के लिए हमने प्रोविजन की मदद ली और रिसीवेबल्स की मदद ली. एग्रीड. अब मैं आगे जाऊंगा. कैलकुलेशंस ऑलरेडी मेंशन है, आप आराम से कॉपी कर लेना. नेक्स्ट इज रेंट इज प्रीपेड. कहां लिखा हुआ है रेंट? ये रहा 6000. सर 6000 में से माइनस हो जाएगा 500. आंसर आएगा 5500. और रेंट हमारा क्या होता है? प्रीपेड हमारा क्या होता है? करंट एसेट्स. प्रीपेड हमारा क्या होता है? करंट एसेट्स. प्रीपेड हमारा क्या होता है? करंट एसेट. और उसका नाम है अदर रिसीवेबल्स. Rent is an expense, but out of 6,500 is prepaid. Prepaid is not an expense. Prepaid का मतलब है आपने ज्यादा अमाउंट पे कर दी. तो जो ज्यादा अमाउंट पे की है वो आपका एक्सपेंस नहीं है, वो आपका करंट एसेट है. 500 करंट एसेट्स में जाएंगे. लुक हियर, 500 करंट एसेट्स में जाएंगे. अक्रूड से एक्सपेंस बढ़ता है, प्रीपेड से एक्सपेंस कम होता है. अक्रूड से एक्सपेंस बढ़ता है, प्रीपेड से एक्सपेंस कम होता है. अक्रूड एक्सपेंसेस करंट लायबिलिटी है, प्रीपेड एक्सपेंस करंट एसेट्स हैं. अक्रूड एक्सपेंस करंट लायबिलिटी है, प्रीपेड एक्सपेंस करंट एसेट्स हैं. नाउ we are moving towards the last adjustment, and that adjustment belongs to depreciation. It says you need to depreciate fittings by 10% and van 25%. So where we have van and fittings, sir, here we have the van and here we have the shop fittings. So what to do, sir? Apply 10%, become 4,000, apply 25%, it makes it 30,000 into 25% makes it 7,500. Depreciation. आपके पास 40,000 के एसेट्स हैं, बट वो हमेशा एक जैसे नहीं रहेंगे, उसकी वैल्यू हर साल कम हो जाएगी. आपके एसेट्स की, आपके वैन की, आपके फर्नीचर्स की, आपकी मशीन्स की वैल्यू वक्त के साथ साथ कम होती जाएगी. सो डेप्रिसिएशन इज वन ऑफ द एक्सपेंस. डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ शॉप फिटिंग एंड डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ वैन. वैल्यू 4,000 and 7,500. They are expenses and they need to subtract from non-current assets. Look at here. These column names are the cost column, where we put the cost of asset. This is total depreciation. अब तक asset कितना depreciate हुआ है वो यहाँ लिखेंगे. और अब उसकी बची हुई वैल्यू, नेट बुक वैल्यू. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपके पास ट्रायल बैलेंस में ऑलरेडी शॉप फिटिंग्स गिवन है, दोबारा देख लें, आपके पास ट्रायल बैलेंस में शॉप फिटिंग्स गिवन है, कितनी अमाउंट है सर? 40,000। लेकिन वो एसेट हर साल 40 का थोड़ी रहेगा भाई, वक्त के साथ साथ हर एसेट की वैल्यू कम हो जाती है, तो 4,000 इसमें से माइनस होगा। Similarly, your van cost you 30,000. Your van cost you 30,000, but when you use the van, the value of the van decreases. अब वो डिक्रीज होके हो गई है 22,500। बोले क्या बात है? Now, after making adjustments, we put all the adjustments at two places. Now we are moving towards the trial balance. Now we have done the adjustment. अब वन बाय वन हम लोग ट्रायल बैलेंस की वैल्यूज पुट करेंगे। हम शॉप फिटिंग भी लिख चुके, वैन भी लिख चुके, प्रोविजन लिख चुके हैं, वेजेस एंड सैलरीज लिख चुके हैं, रेंट लिख चुके हैं। राइट, लेट मी मूव। First item is sales, 409,000. Where to put sales? Sales is a part of income statement, 409,000. Next, purchases, 3,50,000. Again, income statement item, 3,50,000. Sales return, 5,000. Here, subtracted 5,000. Next, purchases return 6,500, subtracted here. A trial balance item affect once. लिख लें. Trial balance item affect once. An adjustment effect twice. Opening inventory 100. Opening inventory here. Opening inventory in cost of sales. ये रटा रटाया format है. You have to learn these format first so that you can understand how the values are coming in. Telephone is an expense, 10,000. Telephone 1,000. Receivables 9,800. Receivables 9,800. Payables 7,000. Payables 7,000. Bad debts 2,000. Bad debt is an expense. Yes sir, मेरा नुकसान है, मेरे पैसे डूब गए, मेरा नुकसान है. Capitals 170,000 here. Bank is a current asset 3,000. Already name mention हुआ है बैंक का. Drawings 16,200. जाहिर है कैपिटल से ही माइनस होगा. Drawings belongs to owner, that is capital. Here we have done the question. हमने पहले एडजस्टमेंट्स लिखनी सारी, एडजस्टमेंट दो जगह लिख दिया, फिर हमने ट्रायल बैलेंस उठाकर उनकी प्लेस में लिख दिया. Only we follow the pattern. Now one by one perform the calculation. Net sales. Sales में से sales return minus कर दें 404. Now perform these calculation. Put the cost of sales here. Calculators. Perform the calculation of cost of sales. 3,50,000. Everybody perform the calculations. 3,5,3,500. What to do next? Subtract from here. Subtract from here. 404,000 minus cost of sales. It gives you gross profit 50500. There is no other income. Now you are supposed to take the sum of all expenses and drag them here. All expenses transferred here. 31,800 plus 186 plus 5500 plus 4,000 plus 7,500 plus 1,000 plus 2,000. Answer is 51986. 51986. What to do next? So you need to subtract the expenses from gross profit. Uh-oh, it's a loss. It's a loss. It's a loss. 1486 का आपको लॉस हो रहा है, लॉस फॉर द ईयर. इसे लिखते हैं लॉस फॉर द ईयर. Let me move towards the financial position. This amount, look at carefully, this amount goes to capital. ये बिजनेस किसका? ओनर का. ये प्रॉफिट किसका? ओनर का. ये लॉस किसका? ओनर का. The profit or a loss belongs to the owner. Now, calculators, take the sum of non-current assets. Take the sum of non-current assets. $58,500. Then take the sum of current assets, drag them here. Take the sum and take them here. 90,000 plus 9,800 minus 686 plus 500 plus 3,000. Perform calculation, perform calculations. This is 102614. Now you need to add. Now you need to add non-current asset with current assets. Non-current assets plus current assets. It makes you 16111111114. Perform the calculations. Now take the sum of these. जो bracket में होता है आपको पता है minus होता है. 170,000 minus 1486 minus 16200 152,314. Now capital plus liabilities. Non-current liability तो हमारे पास है ही नहीं. Take the sum. Check it whether it is balanced or not. जल्दी बताएं क्या आंसर आ रहा है प्लस करने के बाद. 16114 बोले क्या बात है. It got balance. Alhamdulillah. As always, Alhamdulillah.